Testing. If you're by the back door, raise your hand if you can hear me. Perfect. I won't ask those who can't hear me to raise their hand. What? As soon as the last few people are coming in, we did bring out 2 extra tables, and I think there's extra chairs. There's a chair over here by this front table. And if you have an extra chair by your table, would you raise your hand? There's an extra chair up front, right here. There's a chair right over there by that table. You can sit along the bench. You can have my chair. Come on up. Right here. So we're going to start this meeting. I, even with glasses, are going to have a hard time reading that clock over there. But I'm going to really try really hard to get us out of here by 3 o'clock. That's our contract time. I want to start by introducing first myself, if you don't know who I am. My name's Lou McLean. I've been a member since about 2005. I'm not going to go into all the other stuff that I was fortunate enough to be dragged into to volunteer to do. But I learned a lot, and the best thing that happened to me was I made a lot of friends. I was able to do a lot of research and attend Salt Lake City research trips and go to some conferences. Oh, I'm sorry. I would like, and I know it's very difficult because we're kind of tight for space, and actually that's a good thing. Yay, you guys came. But I would like to have the new members and our guests stand up, please. If you were a new member in 2022, or just right now, 2023, stand up. Oh boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, see? 4. And I know of 2 new members right over there, or at least 1. She's just sitting down. How about if you're a guest? You're not a member, but you just heard about the meeting and you decided to come. A guest also. Okay, great. Welcome. Thank you. Before we get started, and even before we do the Pledge of Allegiance, I'm going to make a special presentation. And Pat Bates is our new secretary, and she's going to help me with this. Welcome, Pat, for taking this position on. You're done for now. Thank you so much. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, it's going to be real casual, but we are going to try to get out of here by 3. I have a certificate of appreciation right now for a lovely lady. We're very grateful to Lois Bird for her leadership at West Valley Genealogy Society as your past president. Her enthusiasm in working with the Strategic Fundraising Committee has created a vision for the future of WVGS. I would like to present her with her past president pin and her certificate. Please give her a round of applause. Molly says she's going to run the slides, and that's wonderful because then I don't have to worry about it. Only, in fact, if you have to back up because I'm talking too much. I'm going to follow the slides too. If you're able, I would like you all to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. According to agendas, presidents give sort of a announcement type thing before we get into our other directors and chairheads for their reports. We're trying something new, and I know this would have probably been at the class table as well, but what we're trying new is 3 things are going to happen on the same day, which is a holiday. It's January 16th, Monday, at the library. We're going to try this because there's been voiced there's a need. I'm going to be in the computer lab from 10 to 2, and then from 2:30, from 10 to 12, and then from probably 12:30 to 2 or 2:30. And I'm going to help folks if they want to know what's going on those computers in the lab. Things that they may not know are there that will help them in their research. We're also going to do a short tutorial about the web page and how you can maneuver through it and find stuff that you may not know about. Also at the same time, it's going to be set up within the library. Barbara Schroyer and Connie Sheets are going to do one-on-ones with people if they have a brick wall or they need some extra help in something that they've encountered that's puzzling for them. Then, the third thing that's going on in the multipurpose room is a used book sale that Peggy Morphew has been spearheading. So 3 things happening, mainly because the library is officially closed on Monday, but 3 different things during that time span. So if any of those things appeal to you, please come on by. The other announcement I wanted to make is communication is a big, big thing, and we have a lot of volunteers, but we don't have enough. And the volunteers that we do have are working their rear ends off, and a lot of it, they can only stay focused on what their initial job is, because that's how they get it done. But communication between all the other committees, all the other directors, all the other chair heads, I mean, I'm going to try to have a joint meeting on January 31st from 1 to 3, and it's going to include all those people. It's going to include those working volunteers or their chairs, directors, board members. They're invited if you want, you don't have to. And we're going to see if we can't, at least everyone will have the same information that everyone else has about what's coming down the pike. Okay? There's going to be several committees that get established. We're going to find out all about that. You as members are going to be able to know all about it because I'm a real blabbermouth when it comes to doing the tidbits. And so I invite you all, if you're even interested in being a volunteer, in any capacity whatsoever, what you feel comfortable doing, I would like you to come to that meeting. January 31st is a Tuesday, 1 to 3. That's one of my announcements. And I think what we're going to do, I have 2 questions. Just raise your hand. How many of you know how to access the digitized periodicals from the states about counties and such that you're researching? How many of you, raise your hand, know how to go into the web page and read the digitized periodicals? And I'm talking 55,000 plus, okay? So if you happen to be from Oklahoma or Pennsylvania and you're doing research in Washington State or California, there are periodicals that have been digitized over many years and many thousands and thousands of hours that you can pull up at night at 3 o'clock in the morning and read what was going on in your county, in your state. They're on our website. So not very many of you raised your hand. That tells me something. Only one other question and then we're going to move on. How many of you know how to add your own surnames that you're researching into the web page so that you can always see who else in this membership is actually researching your same surname? More know how to add your surnames, and you can take them out. You can continually add as you go along. That's another thing that's a part of our website that you can do. I found shoemakers. Peggy Morphew has shoemakers. I didn't know that. Kathy found Peggy Morphew as a distant relative because the same surnames that they're researching meshed. So it's kind of a fun thing, but the input to put in your own surnames, and it's very simple, but you have to know where to go. to do it. Okay. There will be a suggestion box in the library and here every month, not this month. I don't need suggestions yet. Mainly because I couldn't find the prettiest box, so. But it will be in the library, and we welcome your input, we welcome your issues. We want to know what you think WVGS can strive to do in the future. I will warn you, do not say, I want this, or I think this would be a benefit without leaving your phone number. Because we can do a lot if we have the volunteers that have the interest to help us along. There's not a lot, I don't know a lot, but if we can have people that say, hey, I think this would really be cool, let's try this, leave your phone number, please, or an email. We have the minutes to approve, and they were sent out on e-news, and they were posted on the bulletin board, and I would need for people to give me a motion to approve the minutes that were written by a combination of Jenny O'Leary and Pat Bates, our new secretary. Do I have a motion to approve the last December general meeting minutes? Okay, Bob Gallagher made the motion and Charlie seconded it. So I'm going to help out my secretary here, Bob Gallagher, and second was Charlie Menino. All those in favor? Thanks for approving the minutes. Show me your hands. How many of you read the minutes? Oh, I love you honest people. I thank you. The treasurer's report is not usually brought here to the meeting. It's read and approved at the board meetings. And our treasurer is Donna Scott and Jill Mitchell, and they presented the financial report to the last board meeting. They were approved and they're posted for audit. How many of you know how to go into the website and find the treasurer's report from last month? Not too many. Okay, we're going to need to have a tutorial on that website. I'm only going to put one thing out here because it's already listed in another slide, but there's a gold sheet of paper on your desk. It's very brief. Historian. I call it a scrapbooking person. If you like to do scrapbooking, you've done it before, and you want to help out. We just celebrated 50 years and we don't even have a scrapbook to prove it. So I would love to have somebody come and tell me that they would like to help out, as we call it a historian. I'm not going to say you have to commit to every month of the year, it's whatever happens, whatever we can compile. But Charlie has a whole slew of photographs and stuff. We have history books back to 1972. I was going to bring one today so y'all could look at it. Good thing I didn't bring it, because you wouldn't be able, all of you wouldn't be able to see it. But if you have an interest and you like to scrapbook, you can do it your style, your way. Please get a hold of me, okay? Okay. I'm going to turn the mic over to Marilyn Simlinus. She's our second vice. And she's going to tell you about the Salt Lake City trip and, very importantly, the seminar. There's a slide coming up too, Marilyn. We should have warned you about all the vendors. We have wonderful vendors. And it'll go through while Marilyn's up here. She doesn't even bring notes.
Well, we've been working on it for a while. Yeah, no notes, sorry. So back at the education table, if you haven't signed up for our fabulous seminar, please grab a registration page and you can fill it out. You can leave your check here now. You can go online and do it. But it's going to be a wonderful event. Michael Lacapo is an excellent speaker. He is a kick, as far as I'm concerned too. I've had opportunity to meet him in person and to have lunch and dinners with him in Sacramento for other things. And not just me, but our board and there in Sacramento. And he inspired me, I think I've told you guys this before, to do a blog. He has a great blog called Who's Your Daddy, Hoosier, Who's Your Daddy? And he created, as he was finding out that some of his DNA came back were who he thought were his grandparents or grandfather wasn't his grandfather. So We all have interesting stories, and Michael's no different. He was a vet to start with, and he got involved with genealogy, and he has been passionate about it. He speaks nationally, at least. He is big on, I think, Pennsylvania Dutch ancestors he has, so he knows a lot about that. The list of topics are very eclectic. We thought for the 50th, he can speak on all kinds of things. I've heard him talk on lots of different things and different venues. But I think you'll enjoy it. And our committee is meeting. We're meeting Wednesday to remind people that are here. I sent, anyway, I won't say that. So hopefully you guys will be excited. It's February 18th. It's at the same location. I think it's the Methodist Church. I remember what it's called. It's in Sun City West, over there on Meeker. And all the information is on their flyer. It's posted on the website. I believe it's been in tidbits. I think it's all over the place. So that's the seminar. Doreen has been excellent working on getting us some wonderful vendors, and I think you'll be excited to see and hear about some of the things that are going on there and opportunities to not only see what they have to offer, but there will be drawings, and a lot of them are supplying us with some things to raffle off. So that will be going on. And yeah, I'm not going to go into that. I don't need to read that. You guys know all about that. So the Salt Lake City trip is coming up. I also have information back over there about anything there that you might want. I have a call in to Rich Williams, who is the group sales guy that you register or you sign up or get your room through. And I'm not sure how many rooms we have left. I was hoping to have that for you today, but as soon as I can, I will get that out to publicity and let them know. It's a great deal. I mean, the Salt Lake City Plaza is right next door to the Family History Library. The restaurant that most of you might remember is not there anymore. But there are lots in City Creek in the mall there, or just a little jog over to Harmon's Market. They have fabulous food. You have refrigerators in your room, and lots of wonderful opportunities in that Temple Square area. Most of the time I am feeling we're going to be doing research, and then you're going to want to collapse because your brain is just going to go I can't take any more information in, but there are some things to do around Temple Square as well, and hopefully we'll get to do some of that fun stuff. Again, everything at the Family History Library is free. They no longer charge for copies, and so come and bring your work, especially if you are looking for translation help, and you, no matter what country. If you have some documents you don't know what they say, or you need help finding things within that country, they have all the people you need to help you find it. And I'll be doing a class on the 21st about how to get ready for this trip. So everyone is pretty much in charge. Like I said before, I am not a travel agent. I didn't take this on to be a travel agent, but I have reserved rooms for us, so at a fairly decent price. So hopefully you all join us, and we'll see you then.
I have my own little notes here. Okay, Stephanie, our first vice president is Stephanie Sparks, and she's got a couple announcements to make. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everybody. The Marie Bierink Volunteer Appreciation Award, this is a longer name than I expected it was going to be, but I'll get used to it, was born, for January, was born and grew up in New York City until she moved to Arizona in 2002 when she was 54 years old. She was born to an Irish-born father and an Irish mother whose immigrant parents arrived in the U.S. in the early 20th century. She is all things Irish. Her ancestry DNA results list her as 90% Irish with a little bit of Scottish and Welsh thrown in. She's traveled back to Ireland a dozen times in her life and has plans to travel again this year, spending time with several of her first cousins. As a financial analyst, she worked in the legal department for TIAA, a pension fund company, retiring after 36 years before coming to Arizona. In addition to her interest in family history research, she's an active volunteer and board member of the Sun City Craft Club and helps with the planning of their spring and fall craft fairs. She's a creative and talented jewelry designer as well. Our winner has been a WVGS member since 2003 and was a member of the long-range planning committee. She's attended British Isles and the Italy SIGs, assorted classes, and our annual seminar. In fact, for many years, she was a member of the seminar committee and in charge of the registration procedures and putting together the packet. Everybody knows the thick envelope we all get when we come to the seminar. That was our volunteers' job. She resigned after last year's seminar to spend more time with her husband of 51 years. Her energy, hard work, and organizing skills and devotion to WVGS are greatly appreciated. Let's give a big thank you to our January winner of the Volunteer Appreciation Award, Michelle Warren. Michelle. The next project that I want to talk about is something called a movable equipment inventory. One of the best turnouts for volunteers that we've had in the years that I've been involved at WVGS was for the delivery of the chairs, the new chairs for the library. And so there is another project, this one, that I need help with again. So like that project, it is, well, first of all, let me tell you what it is. The movable equipment inventory we use for two things. One is it has to go along with the paperwork to the state of Arizona to confirm our exemption from personal property taxes. So that's important. It's also important because it's the only list of the equipment that we have in the library in case there was a fire or the library was somehow damaged. If you're a corporation, you have financial records for all of the equipment that you buy, and that's generally how you start your inventory, but most of ours has been donated. So we have to do this. So we need to have an accurate and up-to-date list of the stuff that's in the library in case we ever had a fire and had to prove to an insurance company what had been damaged or destroyed. There is an existing inventory list, but with COVID and the change of volunteers, we find ourselves with an outdated inventory. It hasn't been updated in 2 or 3 years. And a software program that no one knows how to use anymore and isn't supported. So I think I've figured out how to get it into a program more people will understand. And I should say that Jill Mitchell worked on this for a year of her term as first vice president as well. So she handed me something that was already well started. What I'm thinking is that if I had 4 teams of 2 people each who would come in for an afternoon from 1 to 5, we could have each team inventory a section of the library. You would have a list, and all you'd have to do is to say this item is in this area, it's not in this area, and here's the list of things that are in this area that aren't on the list. So it's not too complicated. You don't have to understand software. You just have to be able to pay attention to detail. You have to look at the fact that there's 2 voice paper baskets in the room and make sure that they're counted. And then that team would do an original inventory for one section, and then they would go over and redo the inventory for another section so that we had quality control and 2 sets of people were looking at it. I think we can do the library from 1 to 5. It has to be either a Wednesday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon because that's when the library is closed. I promise to bring snacks and food. I promise that we'll spend lots of time laughing when we're not doing the inventory. And so that's what I need your help with. There will be two sign-up sheets on the red covered table on the way out the door. I'd appreciate it if you could give me your name and email address. That's how I keep track of everything, as the chair delivery team well knows. If I can, and I think I need well more than 8 people, because life interferes with stuff, and if I have 8 people, 4 of them won't be able to come on the day we've actually chosen because they've contracted COVID or have decided to go to Australia. One of those things. So I'm looking to have about 16 people on each list, and then we'll decide which of them is which team we're going to use and which day we're going to go with. And so if you can sign up, if you can do a Wednesday and a Sunday, sign both sheets, I'd appreciate it, and we'll see what we can do. Any questions? Wow. Okay. Then thank you. I appreciate your help, and you can sign up on the way out. I'll be monitoring it. So. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'm just going to interject something here, and then I'm going to ask Peggy, our fundraising chair, to talk about some of the stuff that was in the outside storage, but we'll jump. I just have one thing to say, and this is completely off the wall. Okay, we're trying to do community outreach little by little by little, and Pam LaFawn is membership. She's not only membership outreach, but she's like public outreach, community outreach. And so we're getting people and societies and libraries with a preliminary letter. We're getting invites, to make it long story short, to do presentations, not only about WVGS, but about genealogy and how to get it started. So on your way out, if you live near a historical society or a library in your community, or there's a HOA computer club, I've labeled, there's stacks of brochures here with a label and an address. One might be the R.H. Johnson Library in Sun City West, or you'll see it. But if you live near those places, those people have already agreed that they would like to take some of our brochures in for publicity purposes. So grab a packet. There's also a packet there that says for anybody who wants a few extra brochures in their purse or wallet, take them with you, keep them in your car, because if you belong to a quilt club or your ceramics club or something like that in your HOA and you've talked about genealogy, have the brochures with you, you know? So that's what that's all about. Now, I'd like to have Peggy come up. She's our fundraising. Peggy, did you tell me to do it?
Yes.
You want me to do it?
Do that for me.
Okay. First we're going to do Sherry, and then we'll do Peggy. You see, yes, be very patient. I'm just learning. Sherry Erickson is part of the Collection Development Committee. She handles the books, and we have a special presentation.
Well, in addition to our duties as the Collection Development Committee, when we work on the collections that you donate to the library so we can get them in the library or send them to Mesa to be digitized and then they're on the internet, we get to purchase a book for somebody that turns 90. And so today we have Irma Harden. And she was born in Illinois, moved to Phoenix in 1965 for her children's health, started genealogy in 1969. She's done it a long time. I started in 99 and thought I'd done it a long time. But her sister had identical twin girls. She always wanted twins. So she wondered where they came from, and her doctor told her that multiple births came from the mother's side. There were twins and one set of triplets in her husband's family. She looked at the 1850 census and found her second great-grandfather had identical twin girls. Further research revealed 5 sets of twins in that family. Then discovered her grandmother's sister, her great aunt, still lived in the house her second great-grandfather had built, and she had the family Bible and other documents. So she took her grandmother on vacation to Illinois. At first, her great aunt was reluctant to talk about the dead people or to share information, but when she asked if she knew where they were buried, she did, and would she show them, She did, and discovered her second great-grandfather, Rayburn, had been a minister, and the little country church he built was still there, right next to the cemetery. Well, silly Irma didn't take any paper and pencil, so she wrote all the information on the back of checks and deposit slips. Well, we do whatever we need to. She worked for the state for 22 years, retired in 1993 to care for her parents and her husband's parents. The last position she had was the best, unclaimed property supervisor. Abandoned safe deposit boxes, forgotten bank accounts, and utility deposits are turned over to the state, and the task was to locate the rightful owners and return the funds to them. Good job, because that leads right into genealogy, finding people. She had 4 kids, 7 grandkids, 9 great-grands. Favorite vacations? The day after her retirement, she went to Ireland for 3 weeks. Later, a cruise to Alaska. All other vacations were to Illinois and included research at various libraries. Her second great-grandmother came from Germany and Austria in the early 1800s. They settled in Pennsylvania when several Weigel families moved to Illinois in 1844 to 1850. The Germans didn't bother to learn English when they first came to America. Recently, she was contacted by a great-nephew of her grandfather, and his niece is writing a thesis for her doctorate on the Weigel name. So she has somebody to pass this information on to. She can hardly wait to hear from her. So the book presented to her today is Germany, a Nation in Its Time, Before, During, and After Naturalism, 1500 to 2000, by Helmut Walzer Smith. And we always put a book plate inside saying who the book is purchased for. So,
we have a birthday flower pot for you. I think that she deserves a really short version of Happy Birthday to You, 90 years old. Happy birthday to you.
rat.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Irma. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much.
Wow. Now we have Peggy Morphew. She and Sally Pavia chair the fundraising committee, and they're looking for helpers. They're looking for people that can work together with them. They come up with some really fun ideas, but I'm going to let her continue what she wants to tell you about.
Well, one thing I want to tell you about is that Irma's one of our latest volunteers. At age 90, she volunteered to do publicity for our congratulations. Okay, well, as you can see, we have a few things that we need to get rid of. We're trying to scale down on our storage units, and these are suggested prices, and but the things are in very good condition, and they still have many, many years of life left in them. They are at the storage unit, so I cannot have them at the library that day. But if you're interested, please let me know. We have 2 short file cabinets, and had we known they were for sale sooner, both Lou and I would have been purchasing from them from us instead of somebody else, because we both just bought little 2-drawer file cabinets. And of course, most of you are familiar with our chairs. Now, those are the ones that we replaced, but they still have many years of life left in them. They do stack, and they're in good condition, and the suggested donation is $5. So those can be picked up at the library, and so that's what we want you to do. Okay, and today we have two raffles at the back table. Um, we have two raffles at the back table, and then we also have a front raffle that you see when you come in. The one at the back table has two items, and the first item is and I don't have a picture of it, but it's a basket, small basket, of a bottle of Moscato white wine, two crystal glasses to pour your wine into, two lovely French-themed coasters to place your glasses on, and a $25 Visa card to go and spend maybe at least for one dinner. I think you could get one. And then the other item for raffle is a very lovely plum-colored T-shirt. It's a size large. It has a sparkles of a tree and the word genealogy on it, and then a very nice canvas, black and white canvas bag with a big G on it that stands for either your first name, last name, or the word genealogy. So please feel free to go back and buy tickets. There are 6 for $5 or $1 each. And I think that's it, except to remind you that on Monday the 16th, we will be having a book sale. Now, at that book sale, there'll be paperbacks, hardbacks, pamphlets probably, and a smattering of magazines, because I wasn't able to get them all together yet. That we will be having some genealogy magazines, but at a later date. And the other thing, we will have some books from the duplicate book sale, which would have to do with history or genealogy in some form. Okay? And the prices will be very reasonable, but I do want you to remember that this is a fundraiser. Okay? Thank you very much.
We're going to do this a little bit differently at the next meeting. I'm going to let the last person who spoke introduce the next person who will be speaking, and then I will not be so much in your face. Barbara Schroyer is the director over the SIGs. She's also she's a director over education too. And she's sitting at this back table back here. She'll tell you more about it, because this table over here, we've finally got the class flyers out for all the classes that are coming down. But this is Barbara Schroyer, director of education, and she's going to tell you a few things.
Okay, first of all, since she mentioned the table and it's not on the slide yet, which hasn't put up, I always come with my very capable volunteer who knows more about the table setup than I do, my daughter Susie. However, she does everything well, and she can tell everybody what to do, but I need a second assistant just to do the talking part when I'm not down there, or if I have to leave the table, or if I'm talking to somebody else. So if anybody wants to volunteer for that, see me afterwards. I'd especially appreciate it if it's somebody that teaches classes or knows SIGs or whatever. But anyway, let's go on. I think there's another slide that should come up. You don't have any other slides. Okay.
Talk about the high-speed scanning. That's what we were going to introduce.
Okay.
You talk about it. You want me to talk about it?
No, I'll talk about it because I've got some things here. Okay, the January classes that were supposed to be on a slide are Getting the Most from Ancestry.com by Connie Sheets. She's wonderful at this. And if you took this class 2 or 3 years ago, I guarantee you Ancestry has changed so much, they do constantly. It would be helpful to take it again. What to do with your genealogy when you're gone. Warning, this is a 2-session class by Kathy Gallagher. Novice Genealogy, which is offered every month or nearly every month by Barbara Stenberg. It's a beginner class, kind of a beginner survey of all the different types of genealogy records, along with some other general stuff that beginners or novices or people that are just want to review, want to come in for. Marilyn is doing research in Salt Lake City this month on January 21st. If you're going to go to the Salt Lake City trip, this is something you probably should be attending. On the education day, which Lou already mentioned, we really want you to sign up if you want a genealogy consult. Connie Sheets is doing most of those unless we have an overflow. I'm doing the DNA ones, plus some general genealogy. We can do the consult for up to 20 to 30 minutes. We do ask that you have something specific in mind. In other words, we don't want you just to come in and chatter about your family in general. Come in with a specific question or a brick wall that you need some help with. And the last thing I need to talk to you about is we are now, we're starting doing flyers again for the classes, so you can read more detail about them. Starting this month, we are taking payments, not only here, but we are taking payments. The aide will be taking them, right, in the library. The best way, in my opinion, to sign up for anything or to pay anything where you have to pay some money out, including membership, which many of us need to renew this month, is to do it online through the store. If you do it through the store, you get a very nice email receipt rather than the little small one you get here. But you can do it either way, and you will be able to sign up for things or even pay for them during the break.
Okay, you see this slide right here. Kathy and Bob Gallagher. Bob's set up in the very back over here. They've brought their high-speed scanning equipment. They not only can do photographs, documents, they can save them to DVDs and thumb drives. And they started doing this as a fundraiser for the library because they donate back a good portion and a good percentage of what they take in for what the costs are. And if you want to know what the equipment's all about and ask questions during the break, you can talk to Bob. He'll be back at the table, or Kathy. I would suggest Bob because Kathy runs around and yes. So if you've been here a while, you know about this, but if you're new, you don't. And I basically, on my own personal stuff, started scanning all my stuff for binders on my own with my at-home printer scanner. And if they would have been set up doing this kind of thing when I was doing it, I mean, I would have brought it in, especially the photographs. But it's very, very, very helpful, and it's very, very generous because it's their equipment and it's their time. Okay. I have brought all these slides up here to go through just like what Molly's doing. And do you think I've gotten through slide 4? No. So I mess around and I do this kind of thing, and then I go back and say, oh my gosh, I forgot something. So be very, very patient. I said that before. I think we're getting very close to having our break. Again, we have to be out of here by 3 o'clock, and we want Pam LaFawn, our special speaker, to have all the time she needs. I will say one thing. It gets very, very hectic when the meeting becomes adjourned. It's a time that we've talked about at the board meetings. Many people have talked about it. Some people don't buy raffle tickets, so they choose to leave when the meeting's been adjourned, and it gets very, very, I don't know how to describe it, hodgepodgey, because some people are getting up and leaving while we're trying to do the raffle for everybody that's bought tickets. So after Pam is done speaking, and we'll see what the clock says, she's very willing to stay after the meeting to answer questions if they don't get done within our time frame. And if you do want to leave before the raffle, if I could ask you to do it expeditiously and quietly, because then we're going to try to hold the raffle, you know, without people walking in front and trying to get out. So I was instructed to say that. So You guys are on your best behavior, and I know you know how to do the thing the polite way. As you can see, I'm going through the slides. These are our upcoming speakers. I guess Barbara could have said this, but Bonnie Barsot, if you're familiar with Bonnie, she has taught the DNA kindergarten class. I'm not even going to go into my story because you don't want to hear my story. I'm adopted, but if it wasn't for Bonnie, I'm just going to say she really, really, really helped me. And the classes, she talks at our level. I don't know what level you guys are at, but when I go to a DNA class, she talks at my level. Great, great instructor. Susan Breyer is going to have a class on, speakers. These are speakers. The Mayflower and its interesting mix of passengers. Now that sounds fun. Robert Wilbanks is going to be announced, and Jackie Manasco, our own member here, Stories of the Stars. Now that sounds like a mystery. I think I'm going to have to get them to be more explicit. So we're going to take a short break, and when I say short, I'm going to say 10 to 15 minutes. And then if you see the lights dim or something, that means you better be sitting down because we're going to have our lovely speaker, Pam, come up and talk to you. So you have a break. Thank you all. We'll be back in about 15 minutes.
Good job.
I don't know. I'm gonna take all this crap out of your way.
Thank you.
I was on the mic. Oh, God, I do that all the time. Hopefully they didn't hear me. Anyway, I didn't say anything about the meet and greet and the open house.